Masquera say Maria Zimbabwe, welcome to our channel Zim Confessions and Deep Secrets. Kana karike kutanka hapa nino channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Kana uchingwagara waka subscribe, don't forget to comment and share this video. Nasi Maria Zimbabwe takigira inya yabuli tukana the news ox. The news ox yabuli ishtara iyo ichiti Mazano PF top officials are plotting yet another coup against Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, as those were aligned to President Mnangagwa. They are now planning another coup against Vice President Constantino Chiwenga. The upcoming annual party conference ilikuwa mtari hanzi parukuda kurongwa a resolution for amendment a constitution kuti President Mnangagwa wanuka wachitonga kushuka mugora 2028 muri Zimbabwe. Tofunga wa Mnangagwa and this ZANU-PF faction wapanga wachibudirira at the conference yaitwa ku Bulawayo last year hapo pakapasa a resolution yekuvapa an option yekuextenda his term from 2028 to 2030. Amira zvakaita zvikunzwa ziyambi pamwechete na Patrick Chinamasa, as they were tasked to implore ways ekuti pawanike pachiimplementwa resolutions iwawa akapasa ku Bulawayo kuti constitution iwanikwe ichiamendwa muri Zimbabwe. Hazvina kumira mushe zvirikunzi zvakare va Mnangagwa is planning kupinza vatagwirei mucentral committee kuti vawanikwe vachisucceda va Chiwenga as the vice president. Ngazive kuti nyaya chokwadi here kana kuti this agenda iri kupushwa navachinamasa vari kurwisa chose kuti vatagwire vawanikwe vachiitwa co-opted bato reZANU-PF. Zvina kumira mushe vaDaniel Garo vakabuda recently vachitaura vachiti there will be no elections mugore 2028 hanzi they are planning kuti constitution iwanikwe ichitochinjwa. Hazvina kumira mushe muri Zimbabwe zvokunzi this is a plan by President Mnangagwa and his faction kuti vawanikwe vachibuta out Vice President Constantino Chiwenga. Nyaya yakabuditswa neThe Newsworks vachitaura ivo vachiti Mnangagwa allies renewed 2030 pressure and the Mutare conference key to succession. And while the shrill 2030 succession battle noise has temporarily subsided, President Mnangagwa's political allies are maneuvering to pull yet another coup against Vice President Constantino Chiwenga by getting the upcoming annual party conference in Mutare to adopt a resolution for an amendment of the constitution to ensure the incumbent extends his rule beyond his 2028 second term constitutional limit. Mnangagwa and his ZANU-PF faction succeeded at the conference in Bulawayo last year to pass a resolution that gave the president an option to extend his rule from 2028 to 2030. Now they want to pass another resolution in Mutare when conference meets from 13 to 18 October for an amendment of the constitution to give effect to the Bulawayo conference resolution. As the Newsworks previously reported, this was decided in the run-up to the 2nd of July Politburo meeting, in which Party Legal Secretary Patrick Chinamasa and Justice Ziyambi were tasked to explore ways to implement the Bulawayo resolution. Although Chinamasa was initially opposed to the extension of Mnangagwa's tenure, he now supports it because he is a close political ally of local tycoon Kudakwasha Tagwirei, who is fighting to get into the Central Committee to position himself to succeed Mnangagwa. Tagwirei is close to Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa denies he wants to extend his rule, but allows his political minnows to campaign for him to stay on with his tacit approval. Ironically claiming to be constitutionalist, even when he first came to power through a coup in November 2017, the president wants to block Chiwenga, who put him in power in the first place when he was Zimbabwe's top military commander then, and imposed his own successor. Local government minister Daniel Garwe says there will be no elections in 2028 as constitutionally scheduled. Garwe, Mnangagwa's close political ally, says elections will not be held until 2030, and the Mutare conference will ensure the constitution is amended to implement that. The ZANU-PF top 10 provinces will therefore push for a resolution to postpone the 2028 elections to 2030. However, the constitution requires that elections are held every 5 years in Zimbabwe. Garo's remarks indicates that ZANU-PF is persisting with its agenda to postpone elections, something which may require a constitutional amendment. The ruling party is trying to use Parliament to postpone elections to avoid amending presidential terms to extend Mnangagwa's rule, as that requires a referendum or referenda, which it fears. The referendum to change or remove presidential terms may end up as a referendum on Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF itself. Some lawyers say using Parliament to postpone elections will be tantamount to a coup against the Constitution. This comes ahead of the conference at Mutare Polytechnic from 13 to 18 October, where Mnangagwa's allies plan to use the gathering to push the 2030 agenda. Mnangagwa's close allies are vigorously lobbying for him to extend his rule beyond his 2028 second-term constitutional limit to 2030. While Mnangagwa says he is not interested in clinging to power by extending his rule, his allies insist he must stay in office longer in power. The 2030 saga is not part of the ongoing raging succession battle which Chiwenga is fighting to win at all costs. Apart from the video, which Newsworks obtained and posted yesterday, Garwe also told state-controlled the Herald Daily newspaper, when you go to Mutare for annual National People's Conference of ZANU-PF, me and other provincial chairmen, we are going to call for the implementation of Resolution Number 1 that was adopted last year, that President Mnangagwa should remain the ruling party first secretary and president until he sees through his vision in 2030 and beyond. That Resolution Number 1 must be implemented by way looking at the Constitution and effecting the necessary constitutional changes for the President to complement with our supreme law of the land. The President is on record saying he is a constitutionalist, and the onus is now on us, the sons and daughters of Zimbabwe, who are happy with the direction our country is taking under his God-ordained vision, to effect constitutional changes that will allow him to govern up to 2030. We are taking this issue to conference that we want President Mnangagwa to govern until 2030, and so the Constitution must be amended because our President is a constitutionalist. Ndobabuditsa wakati kwa nyaya imwe Zimbabwe ne the Newsworks tisingaziye kuti munoiona sei tiudziwo zvamuri kufunga mu comment section.
Between Muridzi vision naaroteswa. The vision owner, who is God, and the visionary, in our case, who is the president, ndo chete vanokommunicata. Chimuti chiri ku constitution which is subject to amendment by us. We produce the constitution, we can amend the constitution ourselves. I thank you.